Koinont, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Now, there's been a very interesting development regarding the public protector. And I'm not talking specifically about Pravan Gordhan or Cyril Hippo Eyes Ramaphosa. I'm talking about one Julius Malema. Now, you might recall that Julius Malema was sticking his hand up and saying, hey, you guys have got to get out. The public protectors found you guilty, Well, guess what, Julius Malema? You can go and pog my horn. And I'll tell you why. After receiving 3 complaints in July last year, Thuli Madonsela, who was the public protector at the time, investigated allegations that the Limpopo Department of Roads and Transport awarded the on-point tender through corrupt means, and that axed ANC youth leader Julius Malema used his political position of influence to get the awarding of the tenders by the department and the Limpopo government in general. The allegations Madonsela probed were: was the awarding of the Project Management Unit or PMU tender by the Limpopo Roads and Transport Department improper and in violation of the provisions of the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act of 2004? And 2, was On Point involved in any corruption in its dealings with other service providers appointed by the department in its management of the PMU? Or Project Management Unit. 3. Did the Ratnang Family Trust and or J.M. Malema benefit improperly from the tender awarded On Point? 4. Was the awarding of the tender to the other companies referred to in the allegations, Sizani Build It and Arandi Trading Enterprise, improper? Here are her findings. No one's been talking about them, have they? Very interesting. After perusing relevant documents relating to the procurement of the tender, interviewing officials, going through newspaper reports, consulting with the National Treasury, and analysing relevant laws and records, Madonsela found that 1. The awarding of the tender by the department to On Point was unlawful, improper, and constituted maladministration. 2. The bid was presented by On Point in respect of the PMU tender consisted of a deliberate and fraudulent misrepresentation in respect of the profile, composition, experience, and therefore functionality of the company. Does that sound similar to another area in South Africa, such as the political system? I think so. It was presented to the department that On Point was an established and experienced establishment with management teams and professional staff that complied with the requirements of the request for proposal, even though at the time of the bid the company existed for only a month and had no employees or several of the purported key management and staff. This is Julius Malema at work. Remember? Everything for free. Julius Malema. The conduct of the head of the Limpopo Roads and Transport Department, Ntao Letebele, in respect of the awarding of the bid to On Point was improper and constituted maladministration. The conduct of On Point as PMU of the department to enter into agreements with Mpotseng Infrastructure, Baitsenapi Consulting Engineers, and H.L. Matlala and Associates respectively constituted corrupt practices as envisaged under Section 12 of the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act of 2004. On Point entered into back-to-back agreements in terms of which it received or was supposed to receive payments from contractors for designs which it had drawn in respect of projects that it was contracted to manage and supervise. In terms of the law, any person who accepts or agrees to accept any gratification from another person or gives or agrees to give any other person gratification in order to improperly influence in any way the execution of a contract with a public body is guilty of an offence. The shareholders of On Point, including the Ratnang Family Trust benefited improperly from the tender that was awarded to On Point. Although no information could be found during the investigation on any involvement of Malema in the procurement process, it was conceded by Lesiba Gwangwa that the company had paid 2 million rand directly to the Ratnang Family Trust from November 2010 to May 2012. Payments were also made to On Point shareholders Chiambo Deshabi, the Makateli Family Trust, Gilder Investments, and the Gwangwa Family Trust. Now, clearly, these guys are just corrupt. That's the bottom line. Seller ordered that Letebi take steps to cancel the PMU tender in terms of Clause 23.1a of the General Conditions of Contracts and Treasury Regulation 16A9, that the State Attorney institute legal proceedings against On Point and its shareholders that benefited from the PMU tender in order to recover any amount to which the department is entitled due to On Point's fraudulent misrepresentation in respect to its bid and the improper financial benefit. Further, that they commence the process of imposing a restriction penalty on Point and Gwangwa in terms of provision or Clause 23 of the General Conditions of Contract. Recover the total amount of double payments made to On Point, and finally institute disciplinary steps against the officials who served as bid evaluation and bid adjudication members for their failure to perform their functions diligently. Well, in my view, that's just par for the course in South Africa. I mean, this is just one of so many examples. The thing that matters here is it involves one Julius Malema. Yeah, interesting. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, ring the bell for updates, and have a great evening.